tested. We bring in all the answers you requested. You guessed it, it's unrested. Teaching street Japanese lessons. Unrested. Unrested.
Hey guys, what's up? This is Unrested, and this is our next FAQ. And today I was going to talk about something that I've been getting a question about a lot, and that is about crime at night in Japan. Some people have been asking, how bad is crime in Japan? And what areas should I avoid at nighttime? Well, it's not like Western countries. You're not going to really deal with a rampant amount of crime at nighttime. Of course, there are still muggings, there are still, beatings that happen in the street and stuff like that, but it's rare. It's really, really, really rare. And for the most part, it's really limited in the areas that it happens in too. Some people have asked me, Scott, what's some really bad areas, and you're part of Osaka. And if I were to really say the worst areas, there's probably Juso. Some people would say Amemura, which is American Village. It's just that name because it's got streets that try to mimic Times Square. It doesn't really look like America, though. And it has nothing to do with Americans living there. So don't think that it's a racist situation at all, because it's not. And I guess some other areas might be Shinsaibashi. Some people might feel a little more fear. But, really, guys, compared to Western countries, it's nothing. There is nothing that goes on here that would really make you feel intimidated or frightened to walk the streets at, as late as 4 a.m. You would still feel safe. Gaijin are almost never targeted for crimes in Japan. I have rarely ever heard a story of Gaijins being targeted for crime in Japan. Now, as far as things happening close to myself, I've never had any crime committed against me at all. I've had one friend been given a date rape drug. One problem that is in Japan is that the different compounds that it takes to make date rape drugs, you can buy at multiple stores. And I'm not saying they sell the date rape pill here, because they do not, but they do actually sell the different compounds that you would use to mix and create those pills. So that's a little bit of a problem here. So, the rule goes, always pour your own drink if you can, or at least watch someone pour your drink if you're at a place where open drinks are served, not bottled drinks. So that's one thing girls might just want to be aware of. I have heard of some lewd and lascivious acts committed against females, as far as Gaijin females that come here. I had one friend who has long blonde hair, and she's actually been, unfortunately, the victim of, not something as bad as rape or something like that, but, some, what the Japanese would call chikan, which is kind of like a molester, someone who might, grab you inappropriately while on a train or something like that. That kind of stuff does happen, unfortunately. And they actually have separate cars that are just for women. So, if that's something you're worried about, definitely I would suggest looking for those cars on trains that are women only. Usually, though, it's only for a certain time of the day. I know one of the trains I take, it's only from, I think, about 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. that there is a car on the train that's women only. So, if you're leaving for work early in the morning, it might be a bit of a problem if you're in my area. But I think in Tokyo area, there's some that, they have trains that are women only as early as 5 a.m. and stuff like that. So I think it all depends on the density of your work area too. But for the most part, I would say Japan is extremely safe, okay? Pretty much, I think it's, now don't quote me on this, I'm not 100% sure, but it's something like every 5 kilometers there's a police box, and I would definitely believe that for my part of town. I know almost everywhere I go I see a police box, and it's called a koban, and there's a place where police are stationed and can actually be notified if some kind of crime goes down. For the most part, like I said, at nighttime, moving around, checking out different areas at night, and going through areas that you would consider maybe seedy or ghetto in America or other Western countries are not going to be as dangerous as you might suspect. The worst thing you're going to see is, a red light district where, they'll be selling prostitutes and stuff like that. And I mean, that's not exactly something that any country savors, but it's still a situation where you're not really going to be in danger or anything like that. No one's going to be out to attack you or anything like that. If anything, those areas are really well lit and not a lot of crime goes down there. So in the end, what I'm trying to say is crime isn't really the number one thing you need to worry about when you come out here to Japan. I would say it's probably one of the safest countries in the world, and it probably has one of the lowest crime rates in the world. Rarely do I ever hear of any major crime happening. Yes, once in a while we have a murder, but I mean, it's like 1 or 2 murders, in an entire country. And maybe I hear about one every 3 months. And I mean, for an entire country, that's not a very big amount of murders, okay? And usually it's a very rare situation or some very unique situation when it happens, okay? So like I said, you can feel safe here walking around the streets at night. There isn't any one area that I would say, totally be careful, stay away from that area. Maybe Tokyo has an area like that, but for the most part, I'd say Osaka's pretty safe at night, and you're going to be okay walking around. Now, if you're a female, like I said, try to listen to some of those things I told you about. Maybe take the woman cars, but for the most part, you're going to be pretty safe. All right? If you have any further questions about that, go ahead and write me. I'll see you next time on JFAQ.